there's this idea of brotherhood being a cheat code, right? Specifically for productivity. If you want to achieve something in life, having brothers is an absolute cheat code. Let me paint the picture for you. For me, I always had this vision of having, my guys, four, five, six of us, and we all just kind of rent like a big house. And we're both on the same wave. We're all on the same wavelength. We're chasing after something, whether somebody's doing something different. I'm doing content creation, whatever the case is. And we're all kind of just pushing together. Think about how difficult it would be in that environment to not be productive, and not even in like a negative way of like, oh, I hate being here because I can't even just like relax. More of like a, dude, it's like 5 a.m. or whatever, and all the boys are going to the gym. We agreed on we were going to go to the gym. I can hear everyone getting ready to go to the gym. I don't really want to wake up, but there's no way I can stay in this bed and not go to the gym and tell the guys to come about me. Or man, we've just gotten back, and I know like my guy over here is working on this project, and this guy's working on this other thing, this guy's building his business, and like I know I should be also doing the specific thing. I can't not do the thing because we're all going to be chatting and we're all like how are things going, etc., etc. Just think about that environment in itself. It's just like an uplifting. It's like this whole thing of like a rising tide lifts all boats kind of idea, right? Where if you've got this group of guys, you're all self-improvement minded and you're living in the same environment, it's difficult for you to kind of get dragged behind or just like kind of fall behind because you've constantly got this thing staring you in the face. It's like, hey, my brother's getting after it. Not even from a negative place of like, man, I can't keep up kind of thing. It's a, man, they're doing it, that motivates me to also go and do it because I want us all to really do well. For me, I find that to be a cheat code that a lot of us are just leaving on the table. If we can get, those brothers that we hang out with and we get after life together with, it makes things so much easier. Like just so much easier. But also, the other part, apart from productivity, something I also did, if you're somebody who thinks a lot about the future, I always dreamed of, the successful life I was going to have and all that stuff, right? And something that always I was like, I can't let happen is I become successful and I'm like lonely. Because I just thought about it. I was like, okay, you've achieved everything you want to achieve, right? And you're sitting on a Tuesday. What are you doing on a Tuesday? What does it look like? Obviously, for me, I was like, okay, I have a specific way I want to live. Wake up, go to the gym, come back, do some deep work, etc., etc. But I'm like, what happens in like the afternoon? What happens on like a weekend? Like, yeah, I want to be married and having kids. I think that's obviously going to be a big part of it, right? But even like before you get married, and even after you get married as well, right? It's like, what do you do for fun? Like, who do you do things with? And for me, I was always like, if I don't have my brothers, if I don't have like my close friends, it's a bit meaningless, honestly. Think about school, man. Like for me, in school, yes, you study and it was tough and everything, but I always just loved, like a break, we play football, all the boys, or we just hang around and just do dumb stuff. Like that was just fun. It just made things bearable, but it also just made life, I guess, worth living. I think you've heard this quote before, this idea before, but it's again this thing of like, you don't really remember the things you've done in life, you really remember the experiences. And when you think back to school, think about like your top memories, man. Like, yeah, you studied and you sat in class and all that stuff and all these activities, but it was really like the memories you made with friends, or the lack thereof. Right? That's the thing that stands out. And that's how life looks. I think when we get to our deathbeds, you're looking back, no one's saying, oh, man, I remember, all that time I spent, building this thing, or all that time I spent, like, in the gym, or whatever it is. It's really going to be like those core memories you built with your friends, with your loved ones. And for me, I always thought, I was like, if I don't have, like, my friends, then life's going to be a bit boring. And it can become very nihilistic and all of that. So for me, that's another thing. Other than brotherhood just being a cheat code for productivity, it's also what makes life, exciting. It makes it worth living, if I can put it that way. But also the other part is, as somebody who wants to, improve life, you don't want to kind of waste life away. Think about your very habits. So again, I want to go back to like a Saturday afternoon or whatever. You've done all the work you need to do, and there's kind of like you've got this empty space where you're a bit bored. Now, if you're by yourself, what do you do when you're bored? You go to your phone. I mean, unless you're like a super nerd who's like, man, I But like if you don't need to go do anything, really you want to go to your phone, you want to like stimulate yourself, right? And that's not a bad thing. Like wanting to stimulate yourself isn't a bad thing. Right? Like the reason we get stimulated is because we do things that make life worth living. The issue now is that we've got this artificial stimulation. I don't want to talk about dopamine and all that because I think we've heard a lot about that. But think about the contrast between that versus if you're chilling again, you've got your boys and you're bored. What do? You're like, hey, let's go play some football. Let's go out and go do this thing. Let's just go for a drive. Or let's go do this dumb thing. Again, being with your boys makes anything fun. You could be in the middle of nowhere and you find yourself playing like a football game with a bottle or something. You know, like you can make anything fun when you've got your boys around because that's just how it works, right? We're meant to be together. We're meant to do things and communicate